in the foot. She goes to the hospital. Now, if you've ever been to the hospital before, if you've ever had to have the unfortunate luxury of going to your local emergency room on any given day or night, depending on where you live, you have happened upon a gunshot victim. Now, normally a gunshot victim is accompanied in by the police, um, and the police are there to protect them and also to ascertain information regarding the incident. So I found it funny that everyone was just allowed to, go on about their little business. Tori could be in the McDonald's and you shot this girl, right? Okay, cool. So she tells this story this week and you guys are still not satisfied. We're not satisfied. Now we want to hear Tori's side, right? I don't really care to hear Tori's side. I think, excuse me, I think the biggest thing is that, again, number one, just because niggas are socio-politically conscious or conscientious does not mean that they are conscious as people. I think that black men, whether you are cisgendered, trans, gay, straight, or in between, I think that we've got to have a reconditioning, and even black women, because even the way that we treat each other, even the way that we view each other has got to change. It is unfortunate that we live in this world where a woman, regardless of race, but I'm going to speak as a black woman because that's what I am, but as a woman, to get shot, and everyone is still looking at her like, blaming her. Well, why didn't you do this? Well, why didn't you do that? Well, it's your fault. I don't believe you. Why are you moving on with your life? Unfortunately, black women have the unfortunate misfortune of having to have the burdens of stereotypes, like an unreasonable amount of strength, an unreasonable amount of bravado, an unreasonable amount of knowledge and wisdom, and an unreasonable amount of resilience. We have had to operate from that standpoint and from that trajectory forever, So we can never get it right because you can't be everything to everyone. But where's the love and support for this woman? She got shot, y'all. Even if it was her girlfriend, homegirl who was in the car with her, Chelsea, assistant / best friend, she got shot. I know that we kind of view that with a lot of desensitization because it's almost like a badge of honor to exist in the rap community, having had that level of violence inflicted on you, even earning more stripes to be a survivor of that. But I think it's a little crazy if you ask me. I think there's more to this story. And I'm not really interested. I continue to, pray for people's consciousness, and I hope that people can continue to explore the idea of, putting some space between an idea and an action, right? I hope that people can really intensify their level of consciousness, whereas all of their actions and reactions are coming from a place of positive intention. but oftentimes that is lacking. That level of conscious awareness is lacking. And so when you see a lot of impulsivity and things that seem, I don't know, crazy, they are crazy. They are kind of wonky doodle, you know? Ooh, child, so much more to talk about. All right, you know what? Go ahead, grab a drink of water. Let's come back. So, anyways, so you guys have finally won. You got what you wanted. Brandy and Monica are gonna be doing the verses. Everybody happy now? I know I am. I mean, listen. I think that the verses, I've. All right. Some of these versus battles I haven't paid attention to, especially lately. You know, I think the Beanie Man Bounty Killer was probably my favorite. Only second to I mean, the Teddy Riley one was pretty funny. And I don't know. I think I've liked a few of them. I loved Erykah Badu and Jill Scott. But this Brandy and Monica one, I'm really excited for it. I love them both equally. I know they've had their share of melodrama between them, as people have. Women of a certain age, and you're going to get a different level of understanding and response from them. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that versus should be happening on August 31st, which I believe is a Monday night. Much looking forward to that. Now, you know what else the girls are looking forward to? The girls are looking forward to having Kim Kardashian help young Monica get her beloved boo, C. Miller, out of jail. That's right. C. Murder. Oh, you heard me correctly. Kim Kardashian is on the case, girl. Oh, yes. Kim Kardashian is said to be and has been in talks with Lala, who is everybody's good Judy, and Monica, who also, I believe, acts in that role as just a really good Judy to the many, because she's a real bitch. At least that's what we get from I love that Crystal and Kid Fury affectionately have termed Monica Gunica, because Monica's not here for the shit. As most girls who are of a certain age, Monica's not here for the shit. And I will say this for those kind of 40, the Monicas, the Brandys, the Jessica Simpsons, all of the girls actually look pretty good. Like they're holding up fairly well. The only girl who has had a little bit of a rough go at it is Britney, and we'll get to her in a minute. So, yeah, Monica has been in talks with Kim Kardashian to help get C. Murder out of jail. Now, if you recall, C. Murder, who is brother to Silk the Shocker, uncle to Little Romeo, and brother to rap guru and pioneer Mr. Percy Miller, Master P himself. Now, C. Murder was charged in the death of a young man out there in New Orleans. And it turns out that Monica and C. Miller and Master P actually had a little bit of an exchange of words, if you will. Now, if you've ever had anybody, a family member in jail, you can never really do enough for them. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how much time you send to them or they call you. Nothing's going to beat them being on the outside. And unfortunately, when people haven't really arrived at a sense of consciousness, they are still in victimhood. And what I mean by that is, listen, you and I have talked very much in depth here. Every individual has been tasked on this earth with arriving to a place of consciousness, right? So the intersection of that is moving from a place of victimhood to a place of understanding, right? When you move from a place of, it's this person's fault that this happened to me, or it's my parents' fault, or it's my sign, or it's the day I was born, or it was the color that I wore, or you're always a victim of something in life. When you move from that and you start to understand what your power is here on this earth, it doesn't mean, like the great scripture says, listen, God never said that he was going to keep you from challenges. He just said that no weapon formed against you will prosper. But he never said that there wouldn't be weapons formed against you. Now, you and I have talked about why the cross, to me, is so important. See, there is the up and down relationship that you are anchored in, whatever your spiritual affiliation is. And then there is the horizontal, life, all the things you can't control. And the reason why Jesus was hung on the cross in the middle is because that intersection of you having a vertical relationship with whatever your spirit is grounded in versus dealing with life that comes at you left and right, that intersection right there is where you meet either a level of understanding where you can kill your ego and kill the self that you know of and be born again. So you can either peel to the core or rot to the core. So if you have a family member in jail, oftentimes the challenge for them going to jail is not the being in jail part, but is, do they get a level of consciousness when they are there? Are they still blaming their mama and their daddy and being brought up on the wrong side of the tracks and all these other things on how they ended up there? Or have they arrived at a level of consciousness to not only be accountable for what led them to be there, but also be responsible for their actions and understand how that led to where they are? Right? So Master P talked about how, as a brother, he had to watch his mama put her house up to get his brother out of jail, the first time. He had to deal with, seeing a tremendous amount of hurt and money being spent. It was never going to be enough. And so Master P kind of came for Monica a little bit and was like, listen, honey, I don't know you and I ain't trying to know you. Whatever it is that you're doing for my brother, I hope it work out for you. But I don't want to have nothing to do with it. Now, Monica then responded to Master P by saying, I have been respectful towards you and you have refused to do the same. You cannot speak on me because you don't know me. Only have conversed with Silk. This matter is between you men, you brothers. Leave me out of this because my efforts have been the same. I didn't just see the need to post it. Check the visiting list from the parish to Angola to Hunts, or better yet, ask his children. You responded before you read. I connected him to Kim 7 months ago. He's never not able to hit me, my mother or brother, and get what he needs. Focus on his freedom, right? So that is where Monica is at the current moment, is kind of saying that that's where Master P's efforts need to be. And Master P is saying, you know what, as a brother, I'm done. I'm done. And I can understand the balance of both. Listen, as I said, if you've ever dealt with any family member who kind of lives in and out of the system, you know what a burden that could be. And, I hope that he makes it out. And I hope that their family gets to resolve, their issues. And I also am hoping that any of you who have family members who are incarcerated and who may be going through the same thing are able to look at this situation